Should you main Mistweaver in Season 2 of The War Within? That is a question you're probably asking yourself, especially if you clicked on this video, and it's my goal in today's video to help you make that decision. It's not a question anyone should answer for you, it's one that you should answer yourself, but it's my goal to give you insight based on the PTR testing that I have done and the years of Mistweaver play that I've done to compare to what it's like currently. So without further ado, let's get into it so we can make this a shorter video for you guys. First off, let's talk about the rotation and the gameplay patterns. What is it going to look like? Like, what is the act of playing Mistweaver going to feel like to the player? What buttons are you going to be pressing? Well, in both forms of content, they're generally, the rotation, the buttons you're pressing are generally very similar to what you're pressing in Season 1. So if you're a returning player, it's not, you can use the experience that you've gained from Season 1 to get better, to start off, to ramp off your start of Season 2, because a lot is very similar in how you do things. However, for a new player, that doesn't mean anything. Let's talk about what it looks like for a new player. For Mythic Plus, you are going to be standing on your Jadefire Stomp, which is just something that you put down every 15 seconds to maintain your buffs, and then you're just going to beat the mess out of what's in front of you. You're going to Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, and Rising Sun Kick on cooldown to just do some massive damage to your targets. You're also getting a lot of healing based on the damage you're doing because of how Mistweaver works and those buffs that you're gaining from your Jadefire Stomp. So it's a ton of fun. Super fun rotation, the very core of it. However, in Raid, it looks a lot similar to what you're running right now. You're running like, it's looking like you're going to run a Yulon build with Rushing Jade Wind, extending all of your hots, and the difference is coming into Season 1 is that you're kind of broken free. You're not really shackled by the chains of Invigorating Mist being square root scaling because you have more things scaling off of your Renewing Mist, so you can freely use your buttons without sitting on those cooldowns like Rushing Wind Kick. So it really creates a really positive loop for the player where you get to Rushing Wind Kick, cast a few spells, Rushing Wind Kick, cast a few spells, and it's very easy to pick up and play for new players because of that aspect. Whereas before it was much more complicated trying to min-max what you're doing. Now, as far as build diversity, I know a lot of returning players are probably worried about what the build diversity looks like, and then also just us being MMO players, whether you're new to Mistweaver or returning, being an MMO player, build diversity is something that you don't see often. Usually you see the best thing, and then everyone plays the best exact build. It's an MMO, so you're still going to see a lot of that, but some of the changes that are coming in Season 2 are so sweet and so good for the Mythic Plus playstyle that you're gonna see some build diversity in Raid. Like I said earlier, I do expect it to still be a Yulon tier, which will make some people happy, some people upset. However, if that does make you upset, Chi-Ji in Raid is getting so much better. It might not be as competitive on every fight, but it is at least competitive nowadays. So what they did is they made Chi-Ji get almost all of its value off of a single target. So if you just have one target to kick, like a single boss, you're getting way more value than you did in Season 1. So if you're someone who's a diehard Chi-Ji Raid fan, like I kind of am, you can kind of force it and get a lot more value. On top of that, Shaylun's Gift is an AoE cooldown, right? Well, in Season 1, you can turn it into a massive single target spot heal. So you have build diversity to kind of build around there. You can drop Shaylun's as an AoE cooldown, pick it up as a single target cooldown if there's a big single target spike in a dungeon or in a raid fight, and then pick up that AoE healing elsewhere by going like Peer and Appease, Conduit the Celestial, something like that to pick up that AoE healing elsewhere. Super awesome. There's so many one talent tweaks that you can do to just min-max how you want to play. Very fun. You can really shape Mistweaver into the beast that you want it to be. Now, the biggest section of this video is going to be the strengths. What are the strengths of Mistweaver? And a lot of these are just core Mistweaver strengths, but some of them are new, brand new to the spec. So let's start off with mobility. Mobility as a Mistweaver is, you can't overstate it, really. You can't. You're so mobile. You have up to 3 charges of roll, which then after each roll, you can double jump in midair to dash forward, which is great because like picture Theater of Pain, which I'm showing on the screen right now for all of my ADHD friends. If you get a giant whirlwind circle, you can roll out and then double jump back in for the cost of 1 roll, and then like nothing, you're back in the action so much faster than any other healer except for the ranged ones, I guess. But you can also dodge mechanics, you can stay alive with roll, you can, in raid, since you're always going to be casting and moving around, if a swirly spawns underneath you, you can roll to burst move out of that swirly and then get back to casting quicker than if you just move. It is so nice how fast this spec can move around with just roll. On top of that, though, Chi makes you immune to a lot of slows and a lot of like the roots, things like in Priory, those traps. So you can really game that and get a lot of use out of that. But that's kind of niche. But Tiger's Lust is a spot speed boost that also removes like slows from you. So super sick. There are so many slows. Like even in Theater of Pain, that same boss with Whirlwind, if the banner drops, you can like speed boost out of it. You can pop Chi, you're immune. Like so many things to make you more mobile. It is so much fun being that mobile, and it makes you, as a new player, someone who is new to Mistweaver, new to being a melee healer, it makes it easier to learn because you're dying less often. Now, mana. Mana is the next talking point because being dead is one thing. You can at least go down and grab a drink or grab a snack if you die during a raid fight or during your Mythic Plus group and just wait till that fight's over. But running out of mana is a different story because as a healer, without mana, you're still alive. You still have to play the game. You just can't, you know? So running out of mana is a big pain point. Not for Mistweaver. We have Mana Tea is huge. It just keeps our mana bar nearly endless. Now, don't get me wrong, you can run out of mana, and it happens every now and then, especially in raid where you're aggressively vivifying. But you have a near infinite storage of mana in your Mana Tea. It makes it so much more fun to play. You don't have to sit there and drink mana during a Mythic Plus group and your tank be like, dude, you have to drink after every pool. Yeah, I can do that on the move because I'm a Mistweaver. Super awesome. Now let's talk about the strengths and what they're actually doing. The healing and the damage, which I'll try to make the damage part quick because I know not a lot of people like hearing about healers' damage. But as far as healing, you have so much burst healing. Yulon's a pretty good, especially with J-Bond, a pretty good cooldown in raid. It's not nearly as good as it was like in Tendrils tier, but it's a very solid AoE healing raid cooldown. You have Revival, which exists, and you just have a really good healing profile for raid. But in Mythic Plus, your burst healing is insanely good, which is very important because a lot of the damage that kills people is burst damage. The whole group takes a big smack, you just Shayloons it. It might not top them up fully, but it at least gets them to a safe, manageable level. You pop Chi, you unleash those blackout kicks, all of a sudden everyone's health bar flies up. Super satisfying to watch and to play as a healer or a person, but your burst healing is so high as a Mistweaver. Outside of that, they're not a one-trick pony. They have insane sustained healing as well. You can apply your enveloping mist to your group if you need to do even more sustained healing during like big rot damage mechanics. You can have that hot ticking, that healing amplification on everyone. Very, very strong. You have a lot of good cooldowns that you can cycle, like Shayloon's Gift can be like a 35-ish second cooldown that does like a big spot here, a big AoE heal. It can be like a 30-second lay on hands if you need it to be. Super, super good. Speaking of spot healing, like I said, you have Shayloon's Gift now can be a giant spot heal. It is massive too, but that's probably going to be a lot more niche than it should be. Honestly, it should deserve a spot in our build. But your spot healing is very good. And raid, you're desirable for your spot healing. You get a Zen Pulse proc, you vivify someone with a Vivacious proc too. Like you're doing so much spot healing. You're constantly vivifying in that build. It's a ton of fun. And in Mythic Plus, you also, if someone takes a big web or like a bolt, I said web bolt, but that's season 1. If someone takes a big bolt or a fire bolt, you just like vivify them up a few times. You can Soothing Mist if you need more. You can Enveloping Mist, then Soothing Mist. Get a lot more spot healing. Your healing is very versatile and diverse. Then your AoE healing, like everything I've touched on kind of covers your AoE healing. You have such a good healing profile. You can cover any kind of healing. It's so good. It's so much fun to learn and to get better as a player. Next up is your damage. As a healer, usually a lot of people don't like talking about the damage, so I'll try to make it very quick. But those of you that do care about doing a lot of damage, oh boy, Mistweaver has you covered. So your burst damage is probably head and shoulders above all the other healers, because if you're running Master of Harmony and Mythic Plus, you can stack that up, get store up full vitality, and then unleash that in a giant dot onto a single target. You can also use your Crackling Jade Lightning if you're Jade empowered to do massive damage. Both of these can do AoE damage, but they're more funneled into single target. And speaking of funneling into single target, your priority damage as a Mistweaver is sky high. Like I said, your Aspect of Harmony damage is huge to that single target if you dump it all into one person. you just start rotting away their health bar for, by healer standards. And then your Crackling Jade Lightning and Blackout Kick both got changed coming into Season 2. I'm sure you've heard about it, but they do most of their damage to that single target, your initial target. So you are absolutely melting down the most threatening mob in a pack. But then all of a sudden, if you compare Mistweaver to another healer like Resto Shaman, for example, just a random one, then all of a sudden the most annoying mob in each pack is just dying quicker on your Mistweaver, making the game so much more relaxing. Trust me, it's very nice. You do gigantic healer damage. Outside of that, I have build diversity written down twice by accident, but it goes without saying. Chi-Ji and Raid making another showing, or at least gaining more and more viability. Sorry, I would love to see it kind of get up there and even with Yulon, but just time will tell, tuning will tell. But build diversity is sky high with the spec compared to other specs. And then above all else, the number one reason why you should play Mistweaver, outside of it just being a blast to play, is there is a huge skill floor to skill ceiling gap, which is great. You can get into Mistweaver at a very low level very easily. All you have to do is just Jade Fire Stomp every 15 seconds, Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, and you're already doing good enough. It's a very easy jump in point for across all the healers, right? Outside of that, there is sky high skill ceiling. Like, you can min max this spec to the umpteenth degree. It's very fun, the learning curve, because it's near endless. Like, I have been playing this for years and I still feel like there are just things that I learn on the daily of how to perform better as a Mistweaver monk. It is you're constantly learning and improving, which is just so fun, so enjoyable, and so rewarding as a main. So, when asked, should you main Mistweaver monk in Season 2, I'm not going to give you an answer, but if I did, I would say yes. I thoroughly think that anyone would enjoy the spec in its current state. It has been so much fun playing Mistweaver on the PTR. I am like chomping at the bit, ready for this to come out and ready for Season 2 to come out, so I can start playing on this on live servers and actually grind gear. I'm having so much fun playing it. I look forward to playing Mistweaver in Season 2, hopefully alongside plenty of you guys. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're still up in arms, if you're still wondering if you should still play it, if you're comparing it between this and like another spec that you enjoy, ask me some questions down below. Like, ask me if there's still some pain points on this spec versus Mistweaver. Things like that. I'll definitely get an answer back to you. And some of the other commenters, I'm sure, will leave some great points of why you should or shouldn't play a certain spec. But for the most part, thank you so much for clicking on this video. You didn't have to, but I am so happy that you're here. While you're here, make sure that you hit the like button before you leave. If you gained any value, if this helped you make your decision, if I convinced you or sold you on Mistweaver, hit that like button. Or if you were already sold and are just excited to play Mistweaver in Season 2, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. It helps me a long way, and it's free to do so. Speaking of that, so is subscribing. And subscribing will make sure that you don't miss any Season 2 Mistweaver content from me, which there will be a ton of Mistweaver content across the board. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you so much to the patrons of this channel. Without you, this channel would not still be alive. A huge special thanks to you guys, because like I said, you keep this channel alive. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.